And I kind of thought that maybe the experience of traveling out from Chicago, where my folks were sent out from Chicago to Seattle, and we drove out in the year 1944. And at that time, probably the young people don't know anything about rationing, but we had rationing of gas and tires and what have you. And we kind of had to make our own way. And we managed to save just enough stamps to get to St. Louis. Well, that's hardly Seattle. And in St. Louis, the members heard of our plight, and they pitched together on the rations and got us to L.A. But I know that I'm very thankful, and always felt thankful to the St. Louis congregation because of what they did. I'm sure that there's a lot of them walked to work that month because they didn't have any ration stamps. But it was always very appreciated, and I felt that St. Louis really made an investment in the Northwest. So, but anyhow, we moved out there, and that was kind of we had to go through that. It was kind of an act of faith to do that, and then we went to L.A. and they did the same thing down there and got us up to Seattle. But it was really an experience. I know for my parents, we had an old '37 Chevy, and my parents and 3 boys, so it was kind of hair-raising for them, I'm sure. And they didn't know what they were going to run into, what they were going to experience up in Seattle. As it turned out, there was a congregation in the city of Tacoma with 22 members, and that's all there was in the whole Northwest. The rain kept up until about June, and that was a very depressing time, I know, for my parents, because they left their big congregation in Chicago, and here they were out in Seattle, and all the rain and the dismal weather and what have you. So especially bad year that year. But anyhow, we got through it, and that was kind of the experience of faith. Was a trip up there that I thought I might work on. I think we always feel his closest when we have a need, and probably the need. There was many needs when it came to the congregation, and many prayers that were brought forth on behalf of God's children, as well as ourselves. I mean, we all have our needs, whether we're a minister or whether we're not. It doesn't make any difference. We still have needs, and we need to know who the source of help is, and that's one thing we recognize as the older, especially the older that we get, the more we recognize where our help comes from. That the Lord is the one that provided the help, really, in the long run. But like I say, I think that's when you draw closer to the Lord, and you learn to really breathe your prayers, so to say. And sometimes it's not a lot of words. It's just maybe help. But the Lord knows what we need and provides for it. It's a matter of trust is really the bottom line on it.
Did you ever find it difficult to trust?
Oh, I think we all do at times. You know, you forget, and you think your own mind, you're trying to figure everything out and trying to say, oh, how am I ever going to do this? And all of a sudden it comes to you, hey, you know, you don't have an answer, but the Lord can provide one for you, just like we heard this morning. So it's that really works. I would say do everything with a joy in your heart. And I think that's important in life, period. Sometimes we work in a place and it's drudgery for us, and we hate to go to work in the morning, and it's very difficult. But if you find that the joy in being there and the fact that you are providing for your family and you're accomplishing what you would like to accomplish, it's always to find a joy, even in that, but mainly find a joy in the Lord, and that makes it so much easier. If you find a joy, going back to the place of employment, if you find joy in that, it's not a problem. I mean, it's just it's not work. You know, it's just something that you all of a sudden enjoy doing, which you didn't before. If you look at the good parts of it, you are filled with that joy, and the time goes fast, and it seems like it's always a matter of finding the joy. And the same word concerns the Lord's work. If you find the joy in doing it, there's a lot of people that come and they say, "Well, where's so and so?" You know, and why aren't they here, or why aren't they doing this, or what? That doesn't work. You have to look at yourself and you say, "I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to do whatever I can, and what others do, that doesn't concern me." You know, and that's a matter of joy again.